So this same step then works the same way in close embrace, but thinking now, since we have a connection in our upper bodies, that's where more of the compression is going to be. We have a nice sense of connection there. I'm stepping across. Again, as I take this step, if Lori's keeping nice presence with me and I'm feeling that with her, then there's plenty of room in that back step for her to come into that cross. And again, for me, it's just as important, we move back over here, that I have this sense of orientation towards her. Here, I'm moving along this direction out this way, but I'm oriented towards Lori. Keeping that orientation until she actually transfers her weight, and then I rotate, and she feels a clear sense of invitation to come into the cross. And if I rotate enough, she will change her weight. So for now, what we were doing is we're stepping out from that point where we can keep dancing in parallel system. It's a 3-step pattern. Also, leaders, you can step crossing and then come back in line of dance. So you're not always leading across. And also, you can stay walking outside lane, and Lori won't feel an impulse to cross until I give her that orientation or the rotation to come back in front of me again.
And sometimes when we're first learning the cross follows, we will be looking for those opportunities to do this groovy, twisty thing. And when he's walking on the outside of me, I'm like, oh, I can't. Oh, I can't. So I'm waiting for that little twist in his body that says, okay, cross now.
Now, granted, there are times when I might actually get to that step where she's here, and it's not clear one way or another. I haven't given her enough signal to come in front or to stay behind, and she may decide. Exactly. She chooses what's going to happen. So for me as a lead, it's important to know that it could go either way. And the key, the way we've done it so far, is she's taking a step there as she goes through the cross. So if I haven't anticipated that, we may end up in cross system.
And this is something that there are many schools of thoughts about. So if you've heard from your teacher, you never cross unless it's led, that's great. If you've heard from your teacher, cross whenever you want to, with the follow leads the cross, that's great. So just be aware that it can happen in those different ways if you're dancing with someone from another place. I try to cross when it's led, and if I steal across, I try to do it in a way that really communicates to my lead that I have crossed, so he knows or she knows where I am.
So it's not a surprise. And sometimes there will be a surprise. That's just going to happen. So I thought then what we can look at next is that the same steps or the same sequence for the follower happens, but we can do it from cross system. And that is, say we're in ochos. We're walking in cross system with our partner. Again, if I, from this ocho, decide to go forward on the outside, my first step is what would be the first step this way, in parallel. Just that very first step puts Lori into the first step of the cross. As I keep going forward, that's the point where she's transferring her weight. Now it's my right leg forward instead of my left leg. And again, if I have orientation towards her, then as we arrive, if I rotate, she feels the cross. And there, if I weight change, we'll stay in cross system, or if I don't, let me just back up here so you can see that. At the point where she crosses, If I just come through into the next step, we'll be in parallel system. It's a way to shift from cross system to parallel system. And I'll show you what that looks like. So we're in ochos. I'll just say pausing here on the closed side of the embrace. So my next step could be this open side of the embrace.
And it's the closed side for me.
I go 1, 2, rotating as we collect, continuing through. Now we're in parallel system walking with our partner. So this is a really lovely sequence. It works the same in close embrace. And it's a lovely way to get out of ochos if you're in cross system with your partner. Any one of these points where we're on the closed side of the embrace, I can then move forward. 1, 2, she crosses, and we're in parallel system. Keep walking. It's a lovely transition. I'll just walk around the circle then. What you can see, well, actually I'll work my way around here. We're in ochos. Now I'm going to cross. Now we're in parallel. So again, in parallel, I can cross, Same thing when she crosses. If I don't collect and change weight but keep walking, we end up in ochos. We're in cross system. So it's a lovely way to transition from one system to the other. Lovely. So that's ochos in cross system. They lead to parallel system, back and forth. Close embrace. And the sense we talked about, you talked a little bit about having that feeling in your body, and that there's a pleasure to that moment of the cross. I think it's one of the reasons it's a fundamental part of the dance is there's this energy of coming in, being in that crossing point.
Yeah, I feel like I'm collecting all my energy up and sending it up and down. I'm not going up onto my toes, but I'm feeling the energy go down into the ground and up through my head at the same time. That's what I've become, this fabulous conduit in the cross moment.
Yay. So that's the fundamentals of the cross.